Welcome back to Rebellious Politico. It has been a while, but I have been thinking it is about time we restart these discussions. Sorry about the lighting, by the way. For someone who used to be a model, I really don't know how to light myself, but enough about that. We're going to be discussing patterns of power, appeasement abroad, and of course, extremism at home. Let's get into it. Mandelson. And we can just call him Mandelson. I mean, the Prime Minister does. Eager not to call him Lord Mandelson, his correct title. He's no longer going to have that title soon, but it's so funny how the Prime Minister is so eager to show us how angry he is with Mandelson. This is a man that you protected. You put him in that position. And let's be honest, we all know that you had the information beforehand about who he was. The return of Peter Mandelson to the very centre of Labour's orbit has really spooked their MPs. And it's not because they disagree with him ideologically, but because they recognize what he represents. Now I must talk about China. I mean, I write about them enough in Kunhom. One of the most short-sighted decisions this government has made so far. Okay, there has been several, I admit. The decision to lift China's ban on British MPs is being sold to the public as engagement, a resetting of dialogue, a win. It's just complete nonsense. So they're lifting sanctions on sitting MPs, but not the ones who are no longer sitting, and certainly not activists. How come we're not asking why? Why is this government not saying, why are you not lifting sanctions on everyone? Clearly, it is a way in. A sitting MP is an opportunity to spy, to manipulate, to try to get ahead. This is appeasement dressed up as diplomacy. Let's break it down. First, allegations of Chinese-linked espionage inside of Westminster. The mega embassy in London, raising serious concerns about security, and now lifting bans on MPs without concessions, without accountability, and without an explanation. This isn't de-escalation, this is submission. China will never change their behavior, but Britain has changed its posture. This fits into the pattern that we've discussed before. China doesn't shout, it waits, it pressures quietly. It watches liberal democracies talk themselves into compliance. Compliance. That's what Britain has become, a compliant state to China. This signals something really devastating to the world. Sanctions are temporary, intimidation works, and Britain is desperate to be liked. You can trade with a rival. You can talk to a competitor, but to reward coercion? Well, unless you just want more of it. I can't believe how weak this government is, how desperate they are to be liked. And I can only conclude that they're only so desperate because they know at home they're tanking. Now, there's something that hasn't really been in the news much, but I think we're used to it now in the UK for really important things that may cause offense to some people not being in the news. And it's a real shame that the only reason I know about this is because the leader of a think tank posted it on social media, and then I went researching. So local elections are coming up in May. And Birmingham, which by the way is one of Britain's most politically sensitive cities, has an independent candidate who is convinced that he is what they need. And he is, and get this, and I'm going to read it to be sure, he is a convicted terrorist. And he was imprisoned in 1999 for his role in the Abu Hamza-linked terror cell. And this guy is running. I'm almost not surprised. I'm tempted to say the most surprising thing is that he doesn't belong to the Labour Party. That would absolutely not, like, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But no, he's an independent candidate and he's running, and that's not in the news. By the way, this isn't fringe rumor and it's not social media hysteria. This is a real candidate. Okay, his name is Shahid Butt. This is a real candidate. in a real election in one of Britain's cities. And the response from the political class has been, yeah, exactly that. Nothing, just silence. No urgency, no debate, no explanation of how this is compatible with the public trust, or Britain, or our culture, or our rules, or laws. No, nothing. This exposes this is a brutal truth. Our political system is so paralyzed by fear of offense that it no longer draws clear moral lines, and I'm at a loss to understand why. Who We're told endlessly that standards matter until, of course, enforcing them becomes uncomfortable. No, no, not when it concerns an Islamist terrorist. This isn't, by the way, about race or religion or background. This is about whether violent extremism has consequences. And clearly, our state is failing to draw those lines. And people are noticing, and they are losing trust. This is insane, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this terrorist who is running for one of our local council seats. So the Prime Minister is fighting for his place, I suppose. Mandelson is a disease that is haunting him to the end. We can hope. But then again, I don't know who's going to replace him that will be any good. And then we have China pretending to be our friend, and a terrorist running for a local council seat. I'm not happy about things, but please tell me your thoughts too. That's it for this week's Rebellious Political. See you next week.